Have you ever witnessed an MMA scene so turbulent that it feels like a volcano on the brink of eruption? Welcome back to KO News, your one-stop channel for all the jaw-dropping drama, intense battles, and backstage feuds happening in the fight world right now. Don't forget to give this video a big like before we dive in, because today's lineup of shocking reveals and heated rivalries might just blow your mind. From Magomed Ankalaev's fiery face-offs to Alexander Volkanovski vowing to reclaim gold, we've got an array of controversies that will keep you guessing until the final bell. So strap in, because what you're about to hear could send ripples throughout the entire MMA universe. In the aftermath of one of the most polarizing fights in recent UFC history, Magomed Ankalaev wasted no time stoking the flames of a potential rematch with Alex Pereira. According to Ankalaev, negotiations are already in motion, and he's more than willing to make it happen as soon as the ink dries. The way he sees it, the first battle left too many questions unanswered and fueled criticism from fight fans about the matchup itself. Whether you're Team Ankalaev or Team Pereira, one thing's for sure. If these two lock horns again, the stakes will be astronomical. Both men are known for their striking mastery. Ankalaev's intense pressure versus Pereira's calculated power. With rumors swirling of behind-the-scenes moves to expedite the fight date, the possibility of seeing them trade leather again could become reality faster than anyone expects. But is a quick turnaround the right move for Pereira, who's taken on so many fights recently? That question lingers in the background, adding more intrigue. If and when this rematch gets scheduled, prepare for hype, tension, and possibly a bit of bad blood.
No matchmake on fight night, but a fight that close with a champion as great as Pereira has been, do you lean towards immediate rematch?
Probably.
Surprisingly, the first person Ankalaev reached out to after securing the belt was his mother. In a post-fight interview, he mentioned always calling her first so she can see his face and know he's safe. It's a tender human moment that reminds us these fighters, who often appear unstoppable, are just like us in many ways. They have families to reassure and mothers who worry. However, the soft side quickly vanished when Prochazka came out swinging with verbal jabs, branding Ankalaev a fraud. Yuri didn't mince words, claiming that Magomed was overhyped and undeserving of the belt. In true MMA fashion, Ankalaev countered with some sharp comebacks of his own, insisting that Prochazka's claim to the top is the real sham. The tension between these two has escalated fast. Yuri suggests he wants a piece of Ankalaev to prove he's the true champion. Magomed scoffs at the notion and says Yuri should get in line behind fighters who actually deserve a shot. With the light heavyweight division hungry for clarity, a clash between them might be on the horizon, further adding to the swirling controversies that make this weight class so fascinating.
How confident did you feel that you had won the fight?
Я знаю,
Yeah, you know, I was confident. I kept on moving forward. I kept pressuring him, and he kept on running away from me. You know, for 20 minutes, this guy was running away from me. And then I heard at the end of the fight, he was saying that, you know, he wasn't sure why the victory was given to me. Who's supposed to be given the victory? You know, I've been pressuring him the entire time. He was running for 20 minutes, and then he's wondering who's supposed to get the victory. Listen, I'm happy for a rematch if he wants a rematch, but then maybe in the rematch, he could fight for real, not just run away the entire time.
On the other side of the octagon, Bobby Green found himself on the wrong side of a highlight reel, a spinning wheel kick knockout delivered by Mauricio Ruffi. The fight ended in the blink of an eye, leaving fans stunned and Bobby Green unconscious on the canvas. In a candid discussion, former UFC champ Michael Bisping and veteran Paul Felder broke down exactly where Bobby might have gone wrong. Both pointed out his trademark style, hands down, chin exposed, that fans typically love for its flair. But as Felder noted, flair doesn't protect you when you're backed up against the cage with no avenue of retreat. Bisping bluntly stated that at this stage in Green's career, he might need to reconsider certain strategies, especially since he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. It's an unfortunate reminder that even fan-favorite veterans aren't immune to cold reality when it comes to the fast-paced world of MMA. If Green wants to remain a contender, he'll have to tweak his style, keep his guard higher, and maybe use that flashy footwork more proactively, rather than leaning on reflex alone. Meanwhile, the featherweight division has been turned upside down now that Alexander the Great Volkanovski is set to face Diego Lopes for the vacant featherweight title at UFC 314. Talk about intense. Volk is coming off consecutive knockout losses against two fearsome fighters, Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. Despite those setbacks, Volkanovski seems more driven than ever before. He recently assured fans that he's sharpened every aspect of his game. From wrestling to striking, Volk promises to demonstrate a version of himself we haven't seen in a while. But the real question is, can he handle Lopes on the ground? A known jiu-jitsu threat, Diego Lopes won't hesitate to go for submissions, especially if Volkanovski tries to test the waters in the grappling department. The mental game looms large too. Volkanovski's faced some serious adversity, and experts wonder if those back-to-back KOs have chipped away at his confidence or merely lit a fire under him. If he's telling the truth about not being rattled, fans might get the dogged, unstoppable Volkanovski that once dominated the division. A lot rides on this fight, including redemption, legacy, and the belt itself.
Have there been any days where you thought, what the hell am I doing? Or is it more like, how the hell did I ever even consider walking away from this?
No, not at all. Obviously, while I had the break, I was enjoying the break. I'm like, I'm not going to want to get back into this, but I knew once I flipped that switch, that'll be it. And it wasn't long. Literally, as soon as we got it locked in, I knew the date. Started camp. I started camp really early, but seen results straight away, and I'm like, all right, we back, baby. We back for a while too, so let's go.
Switching gears to the lightweight division, Kamaru Usman expressed unwavering admiration for Rafael Fiziev, despite Fiziev's recent unanimous decision loss to Justin Gaethje. On paper, a loss would normally diminish a fighter's reputation. But Usman points out that Fiziev stepped up on incredibly short notice, when nobody else at lightweight seemed eager to tangle with Gaethje. Gaethje, of course, is a well-documented adrenaline junkie in the octagon, always ready to scrap. But Fiziev had the grit to match him blow for blow. The takeaway from Usman: fighters who show up on short notice and still deliver fireworks should earn respect, not condemnation. In many ways, Fiziev's quick stand-in only solidifies his position as a future star in the lightweight division. Fans often talk about fight IQ and heart. In this scenario, Fiziev might not have won on the scorecards, but according to Usman, he showed that intangible quality that could make him a champion sooner rather than later.
Yes. Are you interested in fighting Dustin Poirier for his retirement fight?
No, I've stated many times that I don't think either one of our families deserve that. We're 1-1. I'm okay with it. If he's okay with it, then no. I don't think that's. I don't think we're. I think we're contenders if we beat other people. If I beat him, I don't think either one of us would be considered a contender.
Speaking of Kamaru Usman, he's the last guy Khamzat Chimaev wants to see again in a hurry, if we go by Chimaev's own words. In a candid moment, Khamzat admitted that Usman is probably the toughest foe he's ever faced. Despite their fight happening on short notice, Usman's wrestling defense turned out to be rock solid. Chimaev tried to strangle him for what felt like an eternity, only to be thwarted by Usman's relentless resilience. Coming from a grappler as dangerous as Khamzat, that's massive respect. It's a testament to Usman's skill set and calm composure under pressure. If these two ever run it back with full fight camps, the outcome could be one of the biggest draws in the UFC. Two unstoppable forces clashing again on an even playing field.
Yesterday, Khamzat said that he was the new version of you, the iPhone Pro to your iPhone 5. Do you see some similarities in Khamzat to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's tough. He can wrestle, he can grapple, he can strike. You know, but like I said yesterday, whether it's a new iPhone or older iPhone, guess what? They both make calls. They both work. And the new one might not fit in your pocket, so.
Another intriguing what-if scenario surrounds Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and TJ Dillashaw. At one point in MMA history, this was the super fight fans couldn't stop talking about. Dana White famously accused Johnson of refusing to face Dillashaw, but according to Mighty Mouse, that narrative came from a misunderstanding, or rather, a refusal on the UFC's part to accommodate a fair condition. Johnson states that he asked for a clause in the contract. If TJ missed the 125-pound weight, the fight would then be for Dillashaw's belt instead. The UFC shot that down, leaving Johnson with virtually no leverage. Anyone who's watched TJ cut weight knows he's always razor thin at 135. so dropping that extra 10 pounds the healthy way seemed unrealistic. The fight never materialized, leaving fans with only speculation about who would have won. Might we see them clash in some alternate universe? Perhaps, but for now, we can only chalk it up as yet another UFC almost fight. Aljamain Sterling recently weighed in on another hot topic: Alex Pereira's high-intensity schedule. After seeing Pereira compete 3 times in title fights in just 7 months, Sterling suggested it might be too much, too fast. Even if some victories came without significant damage, fighting so frequently denies the brain and body time to reset. Sterling also pointed to the pounding Pereira has taken in previous fights. Recovery doesn't just come from the main event war, it's also about the weeks of sparring leading up to these bouts. At 37 years old, Pereira isn't in his prime youth years anymore, so each shot to the head can accumulate in ways that might not be visible until too late. It's a sobering perspective, especially coming from Sterling, who understands the physical demands of staying in fight camp year-round. Whether Alex will heed this advice and take some time off remains to be seen. With ongoing rumors of immediate rematches, fans wonder if he'll slow down or keep charging forward until he either regains the belt or suffers more setbacks.
Bom dia, bom dia, bom dia, com alegria. Bem machucado aqui, mas isso aqui é artificial. Já já a gente dá conta. Como, Brinão?
Daquele jeito, né? Porque vamos voltar mais forte. É isso aí. Isso aí vai fazer o nosso time crescer.
Chama.
Tá entendendo? Chama. Chama. Chama.
É, galera toda aí.
Chama, bebê.
Chama, bebê.
Chama, bebê.
Bora pra casa descansar. Chama.
The MMA world isn't just about what happens in the cage. Outside drama can generate as many headlines as fight results. Case in point, Alex Pereira's ex-girlfriend recently hopped on social media, gloating about his loss to Magomed Ankalaev and calling it karma. UFC standout Jamal Hill took serious issue with that, criticizing her for refusing to move on. According to Hill, it's transparent that she's milking Pereira's name for attention and possibly harboring a grudge. Hill, clearly unimpressed, called the behavior lame and said it reveals who really brought value to the relationship. Pereira himself jabbed back, cautioning her that her new husband might not appreciate her constant references to Alex. It's a messy public spat, no doubt, and while some fans might find it entertaining, others see it as a cautionary tale about mixing personal life and public spectacle in the era of social media. If there's one lesson we can glean, it's that ex-partners with a score to settle will find a way to insert themselves into the spotlight if the possibility arises.
We have a new light heavyweight champion. No more Shama, Kama. So, he lost at the International Women's Day. Maybe that's a sign, guys. I don't know. New light heavyweight champion Ankalaev. Congrats. He did a really good job.
The always outspoken Conor McGregor decided to chime in as well, telling Pereira's ex to wash your box in a snappy comment that left fans cackling. Love him or hate him, Conor has never been shy about expressing his opinions on personal matters involving other fighters. This entire fiasco is a prime example of how drama around personal relationships can overshadow the actual achievements or setbacks in the octagon. Whether it's an ex complaining about an old relationship or a big-name fighter piling on, the spectacle can quickly steal the headlines. And in the fight game, where hype and controversy reign, sometimes these side stories garner more attention than the sport itself. Another major headline that's been stirring conversation is the technical nightmare that plagued UFC 313 on ESPN+. Countless fans took to social media, raging about double charges, streaming blackouts, and continuous error messages. Even UFC veterans like Frankie Edgar were vocal about paying twice, yet still not having access to the fights. According to insider sources cited by the New York Post, TKO and the UFC are absolutely furious with ESPN for the fiasco. With ESPN's broadcast deal nearing renewal discussions, this particular meltdown adds fuel to the fire of dissatisfaction. Some speculators say it could even push the UFC to consider alternative broadcast partners or to renegotiate terms drastically. Luke Thomas chimed in, suggesting that ESPN's user interface issues are notorious and a huge factor driving fans to illegal streams. With both fans and fighters impacted by the fiasco, it's a black eye for ESPN's streaming platform. If the UFC wants to maintain its strong global presence and keep fans happy, they'll need a stable, user-friendly way to watch fights. Whether that solution lies with ESPN or another suitor remains to be seen. But the frustration is real and piling up fast. From high-voltage callouts to behind-the-scenes business turmoil, the MMA world is on fire with non-stop developments. Will we see Alex Pereira slow down his ruthless fight schedule? Will Magomed Ankalaev and Yuri Prochazka throw down sooner than later? Could the UFC's broadcast future shift away from ESPN due to the recent streaming debacle? And will Alexander Volkanovski rise above back-to-back losses to claim the featherweight crown once again? These are the lingering questions that keep us coming back for more. So, what do you think? Are these controversies about to reshape multiple weight classes, or even the entire UFC landscape? Drop your thoughts in the comments because we want to hear every single prediction, agreement, or even disagreement you've got. Before you head out, make sure to subscribe to KO News for your daily dose of fight updates, rumors, and exclusive insights. Don't forget to like this video, turn on notifications, and share it with fellow MMA fanatics, because you definitely don't want to miss our next bombshell report. Thanks for hanging out with us, and until next time, keep your hands up, stay sharp, and get ready for the next round of shockers in the world of combat sports.